Last session we discussed about what are the different developmental changes which occur in the second week. Now we will discuss few applied aspects related to development of second week. First one is pregnancy test. What is the basis for the pregnancy test? HCG, human chorionic gonadotrophic hormone. HCG will be produced by the syncytial trophoblast that will be entering into the lacunae. Now lacunae is connected with bloodstream, right? So this HCG enter into blood, right, filtered in the kidneys, and some amount of HCG will be released into urine, right? So that HCG which is present in the urine can be recognized by the radioimmunoassay. Radioimmunoassay, right? So at the end of the second week, HCG will be sufficient to recognize by the radioimmunoassay. I hope you must be aware of pregnancy test kit. Kit contains strip like this. At one end of strip you can observe urine well, and in the center you can observe quadrangular depression like this. Below that you must be observe C and T. C means control, T means test. If you put few drops of urine here, you can identify one line if that particular woman is not pregnant. That means if there is no HCG within the urine, you can only observe one line. That means control, that test is negative. If that urine contains HCG, you can observe two lines. That means that test is positive, right? So now you know how we are identifying the HCG in the radioimmunoassay. Another one is suppression of immunological reaction. What does it mean? See here, this is the fertilized zygote. After fertilization, this is the fertilized zygote. This fertilized zygote contains 46 chromosomes. In these 46 chromosomes, 23 chromosomes belongs to father, that means paternal, and remaining 23 chromosomes are belongs to mother, that means maternal, right? So 23 maternal chromosomes are there, 23 paternal chromosomes are there. These 23 maternal chromosomes are belongs to same body. That means these 23 chromosomes are belongs to mother. That means they are belongs to ovum. And remaining 23 chromosomes are there, no? These remaining 23 chromosomes, they are paternal. That means they are belongs to sperm. That means they are belongs to father. So these 23 chromosomes are not belongs to this particular woman, right? Usually what will happen, if there is any foreign material or foreign organisms enter into body, immunological reaction will be activated and antibodies will be produced against them, and that particular organism will be killed by the antibodies, right? See here, these 23 chromosomes are foreign bodies or foreign material to the mother, is it? But still zygote is not rejecting. How it is happening? Actually, there will be production of immunosuppressive cytokinins and immunosuppressive proteins, right? So because of these immunosuppressive proteins and cytokinins, immunological reaction will be suppressed. And another important one is major histocompatibility complex class 1b molecule, or simply HLA-G. So major histocompatibility complex class 1B molecule or HLA-G. Because of expression of this molecule, immunological reaction will be suppressed. Right? So that's what concept is, or embryo is not rejecting. Clear? Then third applied aspect, tubal pregnancy. Tubal pregnancy. What does it mean? Actually, if the embryo implanted within the uterus, right, that is normal pregnancy. If the embryo implanted within the tube, that means within the fallopian tube, that is tubal pregnancy. Why it will happen? We have studied. See here, after fertilization, zygote will be formed, then this zygote will be going on developing. Along with development, there will be transportation of this embryo towards the uterine cavity. Right? Around 4th day it will reach to the uterine cavity, around 6th day it will be implanted into the uterus. Clear? That's what we have studied. See, if there is any obstruction in the tube, or if there is slow movement or slow transportation, or any defect in the ciliary beads, usually how embryo will be transported? Because of ciliary beads. Where cilia is present? In the epithelium of fallopian tube. Right? So because of ciliary beads and alternate muscular contractions, that means peristaltic movements of fallopian tube, this embryo will be transported towards the uterine cavity. Clear? So if there is any abnormality in this process, that means in this transportation process, embryo will not reach to the uterine cavity. Somewhere within the fallopian tube it will be embedded or attached, which leads to tubal pregnancy. Right? Usually what will happen if there is tubal pregnancy? First, menstrual cycle will be missed, that means she missed her periods. Then she feels pain in the lower abdomen and unusual bleeding, and if she go for pregnancy test, the test result will give negative sometimes. That is what we call false negative. Why it is happening? See, if there is normal pregnancy, that means within the uterine cavity, this conceptus can produce sufficient amount of HCG to recognize by the radio immunoassay. But if it is implanted within the fallopian tube, there will be less amount of HCG production. That cannot be recognized by the radio immunoassay. So pregnancy test kit will give negative result, that means negative report. Right? So this report is false negative. Actually that woman is pregnant, but not in the uterine cavity, within the fallopian tube. In that case, we have to diagnose the tubal pregnancy by transvaginal ultrasonography. Right? If we cannot recognize, what will happen? Around 8th week of pregnancy, this tube will be distended because of development of embryo, and it will rupture, which leads to alarming bleeding, that means life-threatening bleeding. In that case, we have to remove the embryo along with fallopian tube surgically. Right? So that is tubal pregnancy. And one more thing in the tubal pregnancy, if the tubal pregnancy happen in the intramural part or isthmus, the tubal rupture will be earlier than that of tubal pregnancy, which will happen within the fallopian tube. Right? Because it is narrowest part and the bleeding will be more than this. Why? Here uterine artery and ovarian artery will be anastomose. So there will be more circulation will be present here, which leads to very alarming bleeding. Clear? So that is about tubal pregnancy. Next, abdominal pregnancy. Actually, if the embryo is implanted within the ampulla or fimbriated end, sometimes it will be grow within that fallopian tube, and sometimes it will fell down or it will be escaped from the fallopian tube and it will be fell down within the peritoneal cavity. At the time, within the Douglas pouch, this embryo will be developed. Where is Douglas pouch? I hope You must be aware of it. I am taking the sagittal section of female pelvis. This is the symphysis pubis, and here this is the urinary bladder, right? And this is, what is this? Uterus, and this is vagina. Behind this, rectum, is it? Here there will be one peritoneal pouch present behind the uterus and in front of rectum. So what is this pouch? Recto-uterine pouch or Douglas pouch. Clear? If the embryo expelled from the fallopian tube, it will be fell down here and develops within the abdomen. This pregnancy, what we call abdominal pregnancy. Usually this abdominal pregnancy will not be carried out and this embryo will be died if it is persist or if it develops, which leads to life threatening condition to the mother, because embryo will develop within the abdomen. So placenta will attaches to peritoneum and abdominal organs, right? Delivery can be done by the abdominal section, but when you are removing the placenta, alarming bleeding, severe life threatening bleeding will happen, right? So that condition, what we are calling abdominal pregnancy, usually it will not be carried out. If it happen, it will be life threatening condition to the mother, right? Now another condition, this embryo after escaped from the fallopian tube, it will fall down in the recto-uterine pouch and it died. That means this embryo died and calcified and become stone, right? So here calcified fetus is there. So this fetus, what we call stone fetus. Stone fetus. In medical terminology, Lithopedion. What is this? Litho means stone, pedion means fetus. Lithopedion, right? Next one is abnormal blastocyst. See here, normal blastocyst contains trophoblast and embryoblast. Clear? Then what is abnormal blastocyst? Abnormal blastocyst means only trophoblast will be present and the embryoblast will be absent or very little amount of embryoblast will be present, right? So that type of blastocyst, what we call Hydatidiform mole. Hydatidiform mole. Hydatidiform mole, right? Why it will happen? See here, usually male and female gametes are united on forming the zygote, that we know, right? See here, this is the female gamete, that means ovum with nucleus, and this is sperm with nucleus. If these two united and forms a zygote, that means this is normal zygote. But in another condition, ovum without nucleus, here nucleus is there, here no nucleus, and here sperm with nucleus. If these two fertilized zygote contains only 23 chromosomes, that means the paternal chromosomes only present within it. But to restore diploid number of chromosomes, the paternal chromosomes will duplicated and becomes 46 chromosomes. What does it mean? Within this embryo, only paternal chromosomes are there. no maternal chromosomes. Clear? In that condition, usually this blastocyst will be aborted in the next menstrual cycle. But if it persists, only trophoblast will be formed, no embryoblast. Clear? And very high amount of HCG will be produced, because trophoblast only going to form the syncytial trophoblast, but no embryo will be developed. Clear? Actually, as I told earlier, this abnormal blastocyst, that means Hydatidiform is mole, will be aborted. But if it persists or if it develops, what will happen? It will develop as a tumor, either benign or malignant. If it develops as a benign tumor, that tumor what we call invasive mole. Invasive mole. If it develops as a malignant tumor, that condition what we call choriocarcinoma. Choriocarcinoma. Right? So this is the abnormal blastocyst. Clear? So these are the few applied aspects related to second week development. That's all for this class.